Hi everyone, welcome back to part 3 of our amazing air quality series. I'm here again with Sandy from Stadler Form USA, and Sandy is also a certified aromatherapist and master trained in essential oil safety by the National Association of Holistic Aromatherapy. And this segment is going to be all about one of our favorite topics, how to properly clean our diffusers and humidifiers. This is a judgment-free zone. We're not going to judge you if you have not cleaned your units recently, but we're going to encourage you and inspire you to do that in a way that I think you're going to like. So this is a question we get a lot now that many of you are bringing these beautiful quality units into your home. So Sandy, welcome back, and walk us through why it is so important to clean our aroma diffusers and humidifiers.
Okay, so Hillary, we really want to have a really good aromatherapy experience and a great humidification experience. And you can't really do that if you're not properly cleaning your units. And like you said, a judgment-free zone. But why I found it was really, really important to discuss this was that I have had multiple people tell me they have never cleaned their diffuser. Well, I find that is a problem not only for a really good experience with your diffuser, but it's also a problem because it carries over to humidifiers, and you want to make sure you're keeping them disinfected and clean. Just think of them as appliances. Like, you wouldn't use your Instant Pot, right? You wouldn't use that and then just put it away, right? Like, you would clean it and make sure it was disinfected. And, when you have water, you always want to make sure that you're properly maintaining that water and cleaning, the unit so that we don't have any kind of buildup. And you don't want essential oils building up in your unit either, because that can affect the transducer. And if you guys don't know what the transducer is, it is that round circle at the bottom of your diffuser. And essential oils can build up in there. We all know vetiver. Come on. Vetiver, it takes like 20 minutes just to get one drop out of the bottom, unless you are using like a dropper or a pipette. So you can imagine what it's going to do to the insides of this, if you're diffusing it on a regular basis. So we want to clean. We want to keep them healthy and disinfected.
So how often should we be cleaning our units?
Okay, so I have two methods of cleaning. I have one that is a quicker method of cleaning, and then I have a deep cleaning method. So I'm saying that I clean mine every time I change the water, especially in my humidifier. I clean it every time I clean the water. Now with my diffuser, say I'm using my Mia. So this is the Mia unit. I would, if I was doing a quick clean job, I would just I have some On Guard, Melaleuca, and vinegar in this bottle. If I'm doing a quick clean method, I'm just going to shake this bottle, and I'm going to just squirt a tiny in the bottom. And then I'm going to use my paper towel, and I'm just going to give it a quick zhuzh, as Hillary says.
Yeah. Just give it a zhuzh. Just give it a little zhuzh in there.
Right. And then I would just follow it up by some warm water, and I would just get down in the transducer area and wipe it out, right? That's a super quick method. But this isn't the method that I use all the time. This is, I'm in a hurry and I just need to make sure it's clean. So Melaleuca, On Guard, we all know the studies on those, so it's going to keep your diffuser fresh. So, okay, so that's the first method. Now, the second method that I would use would be to use a soft bristle toothbrush and my On Guard cleaner, which is here. It's soap, so the On Guard cleaner I have in here in a little dropper bottle, because Hillary always says to make things convenient, so you do them, right? So
this life hack. This is an awesome life hack, you guys. Pay attention. This is awesome.
This is my life hack for you guys. So I'm just going to use 2 to 3 drops of On Guard cleaner, right? And what I'm going to do is have some warm water And I'm never going to put the warm water from here into there. I'm always going to use a separate container. And I'll give you the reason why here in just a second. So I'm going to take the warm water and I'm going to put it in there. I'm just going to fill it maybe a fourth of the way up. And then I'm going to just use my soft bristle toothbrush and I'm just going to get into that transducer area. I don't know if you can see, but I'm just going to do that and I'm going to go along the sides and the top. And I'm just going to give it a quick little scrub. Now, the reason why I don't take this over to here and pour in is because of the vent. So here's the vent right here. You don't ever, ever, ever want to get water into a vent of one of these units. You will kill the unit. And it's one of the leading causes for humidifiers or diffusers to actually stop working. So when I pour this, I'm going to place my finger over this and pour away from it. So when I go to the sink, I'm going to go ahead and pour away. And after I do that, I'm going to use more of that fresh water that I have and give it another, scrub. You shouldn't see suds or anything like that. We're only using a tiny bit of the soap, the On Guard cleaner, to just break down those oils that may be, collecting in there. And then we're going to pour away. And then we'll go ahead and use paper towel and just dry out the unit right there. And if you need to rinse it again, go ahead, but this is totally clean, so no problem. And then the lid, I would go ahead and just a couple drops in the lid. And then the lid you can run under the warm water. And I just use a paper towel to do some cleaning. And then, just dry it off. So that's the way you would clean any of your ultrasonic diffusers. That's the same with the Mia as the Jasmine and the Julia. You can use the same method for each of these. The only difference being is that with the Julia, you're going to want to, and I have my Julia plugged in right now. So what I'm going to do is always unplug it from the wall and always unplug it from the base, okay? So you can see the cord is completely off. And then I'm going to take my unit, I'm going to take the top off. And the difference with the Julia is it has an extra piece because it oscillates. And then again, you never want to get water into the vent. The Julia's vent is over here. So when I pour, I'm going to put my finger over and pour away from the unit. And then you could go ahead and clean it just the same way with a little bit of On Guard cleaner and your soft bristle toothbrush. Rinse it with warm water and you're good to go. This whole process should take you no more than maybe a minute or two. So don't think of it as being this big chore. It really is not. And the more you clean your units, the easier they are to clean because there's nothing built up in there or anything, and you're going to keep them running longer. You're going to have a better aromatherapy experience because you're going to be emitting clean, fresh, essential oils and water into the air. So just make sure when you do transport your units, one thing I always tell people, and this is especially important with humidifiers, try not to transport your humidifiers and diffusers while they're full, okay? Because what can happen is you're walking, we're going to slosh around, right? And it's going to get into that vent, and that's not good for your unit. So this one, say it was full and for some reason I needed to, you could just, use a container and pour it out, right there, so you know that you're not sloshing and getting it into that vent area. So again, this is the Jasmine, same type of bottom, and you could clean it the same way. Now, the one that I would really love to teach you how to clean today is Anton. I know so many of you took advantage of the deal that we had going with Anton, and I really wanted to go more in depth on how to clean this. It's really important. My Anton runs for about 2 days, so every time I clean the water or change the water, I clean my unit. My unit is super clean because I don't have to worry about anything building up in there because I'm vigilant. And so it shouldn't take you very long, but I'm going to go ahead and teach you. So one thing I want to draw your attention to, again, is the pamphlet. Look in the back. There's going to be this stick in there. You're going to test your water and see how often you need to change out your cartridge, okay? So let's talk about the cartridge. Well, first of all, let's turn off our machine. So I'm turning it completely off. I'm unplugging it from the wall, and I'm plugging it from the unit itself. So the cord is completely out. Then I'm going to take my Anton. I'm going to remove the tank. And then you'll see I have the cartridge. And just so you know, I have the smallest hands in the whole world. So for me to undo the lid is a little more difficult than most people because my span of my hand isn't very big. So I just loosen this up. Okay, so you'll see the cap is on the cartridge. I'm just gonna unscrew this and set it aside. You can rinse it off with some warm water. I just want to give you a tip and a trick for the cartridge. So when you use this cartridge to begin with, you want to soak it completely immersed in water for 24 hours prior to use. So make sure you're doing that to activate the cartridge. Another trick is when you store your humidifier or you're gone, say you go away for a weekend trip, you never want to leave your humidifier full of water. That is just a breeding ground, and you do not want to do that. So you want to completely dismantle it and leave it so it air dries or has access to air, or make sure it's completely dry. So then you think, well, what do I do with this cartridge, right? Because this cartridge is not supposed to dry out. You need to keep it wet to keep it activated, or you'll have to get a new one. So here's the trick. You just take this and you put it in a bowl of water, submerged completely, throw it in your refrigerator while you're gone, okay? So it will be ready for you when you come back and you're ready to start your unit again.
Life hacks with Sandy. See, she's got all these life hacks. We need to suck all of this out and put it somewhere so we don't forget.
I have information in here I don't even know where I got it from.
No, this is a huge life hack for us because that is a great idea, especially with the holidays and travel coming up. And especially if you're traveling, you know, to somewhere, you know, even like a cruise, you're going to be gone for 2 weeks or something like that. That's a really good thing to know. So thank you for that little nugget.
Right. It saves you from having to buy a new cartridge because it dried out. Because the stand in here will become like concrete once it dries out, and it won't reactivate. So just a little life hack. All right. So now we have our cap and we have our water tank. So I'm just going to dump the water out of the water tank, the old water, and I'm going to use, well, I was going to use my vinegar, but apparently my husband has removed it from its normal location. Good thing I've been married to him for 26 years, or maybe 25, I don't even remember. But, so I know where to find the backup.
Yes.
So this is just regular vinegar. So what I do is I take regular white vinegar, always white. The acidity of the other is too harsh. So use white vinegar. I just bought this one from Costco because it comes in the jumbo size. And, you know, I love just having it available to me at all times.
Well, and plus what I love mentioning, Sandy, too, I just want to interrupt you here too, because when we're talking about these units being a complement to our essential oil lifestyle, and if we're kicking chemicals to the curb and we're making our own cleaning supplies, just like you so beautifully showed us with your sprayer with On Guard and Melaleuca, that's what we're using. We already have these things. We already have these beautiful tools at our disposal. Why don't we use them in so many other areas of our home? So I just love this so much.
Well, yeah, for sure. So here we go. We have about a ½ inch of white vinegar in the container. I'm just going to go ahead and put some warm water in with that white vinegar. I have to even tell you, sometimes I just shut this and give it just a quick zhuzh, and then I add the warm water. Not too much, you know, maybe a couple of inches. Put on the cap. Give it a good shake. And you'll hear it sizzle. You know, if you have good fresh vinegar, I use vinegar all the time, so I'm always going through it. But if you have good fresh vinegar, you're going to hear that sizzle. So then after I do that, I like to follow it up with my On Guard cleaner, okay, in my little handy dandy dropper bottle. And I put maybe, you know, 4 drops in there. And again, warm water. And then I'm just going to shake it up.
And so when we're doing this, of course, we need to make sure that we take out the anti-calc cartridge before we do that, because we don't want to get the soap in there, right? So yeah, and people might not realize, okay, because people might not realize they can unscrew those 2 pieces.
Yep, this is just the cap. So here's another trick. When you're using soap in here, you'll see it gets really sudsy. You know, even if you're only using a few drops, sometimes you'll notice, okay, this is my second time. It's almost, the suds are almost gone. Little trick is, 3rd time around, use cold water. Cold water cuts suds. So your product or your soap will not suds, and it will. Here we go. So completely clean. Now set it aside. Take your cap, put it in a bowl. In this bowl, I'm going to add warm water to. But while I'm waiting for the water to warm, I'm going to take out my water cube. So the water cube is designed to freshen your water. So it will last you for about 1 year. So I don't clean it with anything other than just the toothbrush, and I take warm water. Then I set it aside with the cartridge. And I'm going to fill my bowl. And as I'm filling that, I'm going to show you. I have this soft bristle toothbrush, but Anton also comes with a brush that stores inside of it, which is super helpful. And I like it because it's a smaller brush and it gets into the smaller areas inside the Anton. So now I have my water, my warm water, and I'm going to add vinegar to this. So I'm going to have that soaking there. And then I'm going to take out the inner pieces. So when you take out your inner pieces, you'll notice there's one, this one can come out too, so you have 2, 3. So these 3 pieces, and I'm going to soak them in this warm water in vinegar solution. And then I'm going to take my Anton, and there's a vent in here, but I can't show it to you yet because the water is in here, and I want to make sure I don't transport it over there and get water into the vent. So I'm just going to put my hand over that vent in there, and I'm going to pour away from the vent. If you remember to put your hand over it, you'll always remember, you know, to pour away from it. So now that I have that, I'm going to like, the vent's right here. You'll see the little vent in there. No water in the vent, people. No water in the vent. So in order to clean this, I'm going to put, I'm actually going to use a couple squirts of my On Guard Melaleuca and vinegar cleaner in here. And then I'm going to add some warm water to the bottom. You want to make sure you're not using too much water in the bottom of this. 0.4 inches of water is the maximum that this can hold before it starts going into the vent. So you don't want to do that. You want to use enough so that you fit and not damage the unit. So we're just going to use our toothbrush and get in. And you'll notice there's a round disc, it's called a float in this unit. It goes up and down. So it's a little hard to get in the float with the toothbrush, so I use the brush that came with it and go ahead and clean right under that float and down in that transducer area, that disc, and just give it a little bit of a scrub, getting, any little parts you have. Like I said, mine's pretty clean, so I don't have a problem. Go ahead, pour away from the vent. I can't stress that enough. And then add a little more of your warm water. And if you'd like to, you can also add a drop. You could also add a drop of On Guard cleaner, just a couple. This is the cleaner, not the oil, the cleaner. And then, do the same thing, just a little scrub. This will make sure that you're, getting everything disinfected and fresh. And pour away from the vent. And then just a little fresh water in here. And that's all I need. If you want to clean the sides, go ahead and, give the sides a cleaning with, a little bit of the soap in the paper towel. Pouring away from the vent. So now we have our pieces that are here that have been soaking. We could add a few drops of On Guard cleaner to this. And go ahead and just give it a light scrubbing. This is that cap, the cap we took off to begin with. This cap has a rubber ring in it. You see it? I'll bring it over to you. Rubber ring. It's easily removed. Just like that. So I always make sure I take mine out so nothing gets under it. And just give it a little, little trip in the water solution. And then now that it's out of there, I can get underneath where it was with the toothbrush. Just give it a quick little scrub. And trust me, demoing this takes a lot longer than if you're cleaning it yourself, because if you're cleaning it yourself, you get so used to this, you can do it in, just a couple of minutes. And then you have those 3 pieces parts we talked about. So you just want to give them a little scrub and then a rinse. And so when you're putting this back in, it's a little bit of a puzzle. You just want to keep it, you'll see those 3 little dots. That's where this is going to go right up next to it. So if you can imagine, this is what it's going to look like when it goes back in. Right now, it's going to just snap right in there, no problem. Then you're going to take that second piece, and that you're going to make sure you get all cleaned out. And then give it a rinse. And then you're going to set it right in the top. And then your spout. Again, just a quick little clean and a rinse. And then you'll see this is the side that has the 2 prongs and this one has 1. So you just go ahead and set it in there. And that's where your mist will come out of. I'm going to take my silver cube. I'm going to set it back in there. My anti-calc cartridge, just screw it right back on. Then I have my water tank. So when you fill your water tank, try to do it with room temperature water. Doesn't, necessarily have to be, but I always use room temperature, and I only fill it to the max fill line. It's extremely important to only fill it to the max fill line, because if you overfill it, when you put the cartridge in, it will actually cause the water to come out. So just to the max fill line, and make sure you give this a little tighten, because I was doing a demo once. It went really from a demo to a wet t-shirt contest like that.
Oh no.
Yeah. So make sure you give it a little bit of a turn. It doesn't turn very much, but make sure you remember to turn it, and then you just set it back into the unit. And you can use just, a towel or a damp cloth to clean the outside of the unit if it needs it. And then you can go ahead and plug it back in. Remember what I told you, don't transport these units full. So if I was going to bring this back upstairs, I'd take the tank out of it and then go upstairs, put it where it needs to be, and then put the tank back in. Then I'm gonna...
Sandy, I was gonna say, maybe we can also put together a little quick, kind of, not FAQs, but more of like little tips and tricks about Anton, like that. That is a really good tip, because, like making sure that we don't get water in the vent, making sure that when we transport it that, we don't transport it full, because we don't want anyone's units breaking. We want you to be able to enjoy these for the duration. And so these little simple things that Sandy's showing us in this video are really things that we want you to be mindful of when you're doing this.
For sure. It's super important. So you see this great ultrasonic mist we're getting, and I have that going on. And the best part of this unit, like I keep saying, is you can just pick it up, drop the essential oils in the bottom, and put the top back on. You do not want to put essential oils actually in the water container itself. This is designed for in the base of the unit. And they smell amazing. I can already smell it. It smells so good. So that is how you clean your ultrasonic diffusers and your ultrasonic humidifiers. I'm going to go over the evaporative really quickly with you. They're much easier to clean, but again, you don't get the strong scent of the essential oils like you do with the ultrasonic models. One thing I want to bring your attention to is another problem that seems to be, an ongoing thing is people overfill their diffusers. So you want to make sure when you're filling your diffuser, you don't go above the arrow on the max fill line, okay? The reason being is you can start to overheat your unit if it's trying to diffuse and it can't do so because there's not enough, air on top of it. So I don't know the technical term, sorry, but we're going to go with that. So you want to make sure that it is below the max fill line. And if you notice that you're not getting the output, it's probably because it's overfilled. So just go ahead, take a little bit of the water out, and you should be good to go. That is another, customer service tip, because a lot of people get these, they don't read the directions, and then they fill it all the way up to the top, and then they wonder why it won't diffuse. But it is marked right in here, max fill line. So that's helpful to keep in mind. All right, so I'm going to show you, one other thing I want to tell you about, and I'm hoping to get these back in stock and on our website, is these zero calc cleaner sample packs, okay? We are going to go with a different version, I think, next year, but this stuff works phenomenally well. It's a little sample pack. It has a descaler in it and that little brush. See the brush? So it's an extra little brush. For some of us who've had our Antons for years and years and years, that brush kind of gets like worn down after a while. So it's a great way to get a new brush and a package of anti-calc. So if I was going to use this, I would probably use it, you know, maybe every 3 to 4 weeks to deep clean my unit. It's going to get rid of any hard water buildup in it. So you're going to notice that you're going to just use this according to the directions. But if you're going to use it for a smaller unit, say like a diffuser, I will use a teaspoon with the warm water and let it, you know, clean it out. But there's directions on here. It's just if you are going to use it with a diffuser, you're going to get several uses out of this package. And again, it's for hard water buildup. All right, so now we are done with our ultrasonic humidifier. I'm going to show you a little bit about cleaning the evaporative model. Sorry, I have the big guy. This is the large Oscar. This is an evaporative unit, and it will do about 1,200 square feet. So this one is a workhorse. You will see no mist with this unit whatsoever. And when you clean this unit, you cannot remove the cord from the base. This one, you just want to make sure it is unplugged from the wall. And in cleaning this, again, go to your instructions, do the water test to see how often you need to clean your filters. But mine needed new filters, so I'm just going to do this while I have you here so I can show you. So this is my new box of filters that just came, that I got with my coupon code. And this is the large model, so it requires 4 filters. You'll see that they're individually wrapped. Here's a little tip and trick. I go ahead and I put the date on my filters so I don't forget when it is that I put them in. So I just take one of them, and today's the 17th. So I'm going to go ahead and put 12, 17, 18 on one of the filters. I'm going to remove the top. And again, I'm just going to clean this unit with a little bit of vinegar. And some warm water. And this one doesn't have the electronics on the bottom. This one is all the electronics and the fan are in the top of this unit. So it makes it a little bit easier to clean. Sorry, my dog is under my feet. So just go ahead, take your toothbrush, loosen any dirt that might get in here. And then go ahead and just pour it out. This one, like I said, is a little easier because it doesn't have the vent in it. And then you could just rinse out anything you need to. And then pour out the excess water. This is what I love about this unit. It is super simple to clean. You just set in your new filters. And they just set right in there. You don't have to worry about flipping anything or anything like that. I just set them in with the Stadler Form logo facing up. And you will just, you could either fill it with water now, or you could put on the top it's setting on there nicely, and you'll notice on the back, like there's this little belly button looking area right here, and you just want to make sure it's lined up and not set on properly. The other way you can fill this is with a watering can, or, you know, we like to reuse and repurpose. So if you just put water, like right on here with a permanent marker water, you can always have it right next to your unit ready to go. So you could just fill it. And remember, the benefits of the evaporative model is that you can't over-humidify your home. So when you have this on, these have tons of cool options like night mode, so all the lights are off. It's super quiet. Most of our units, or all of our units, are pretty quiet. So this is how I would fill it. Like if I had it in my room, instead of having to lug the whole unit all over. And again, you could put the essential oils in the little pad area. Just set it back in there and shut it, plug it in, turn it on, and it's ready to go. So that's how simple it is to use an evaporative unit. And the humidification or the ultrasonic might take a little more maintenance, but I really, really love the pungent aromatherapy experience that I get with them. So do you have any questions?
What do you recommend for keeping the humidifier fresh between cleanings? Because, you know, we're not every day going to do the full deal. So, you know, just give us the quick tips that you recommend for keeping it fresh.
Okay, for keeping it fresh, you just want to make sure, if you don't have the time, at least wipe it out. Wipe it out with a paper towel and some vinegar on it, you know, give it a quick zhuzh, you know, but you also want to make sure you're never leaving your humidifier just sitting. You don't want it sitting with water. You want it to be going. So if I leave and I go to work, my humidifier's running. I mean, I have 2 dogs here. They benefit from the humidification also, not to mention all the wood in my house. I mean, how I told you, you don't want to get behind the 8 ball when you're humidifying. Once you start going backwards, it's hard to play catch up. So you want to make sure you're always running your humidifiers 24 hours a day. So that's my tip on keeping them fresh, because think about a pond that just sits stagnant. What happens? You know, you get all that growth like over the water. But if you see a pond that has what do you call it? A spout, or like can't even think with an aerator, right? So you see this pond with the aerator, you don't see that type of stagnant water. You don't want that to happen. So always keep your water moving by keeping your humidifier on. And use your Selena. Really use it so that you can determine, you know, if you need to turn it up or turn it down. Some of the units come with a built-in hygrometer so that you can set them to a certain humidification level, and then it will shut off once it hits that and turn back on, you know, so it's going on and off, you know, automatically. However, the Anton does not. It has that nice handy dandy slide so that you can turn it up and down as needed. See, I'm at 47%. I'm ideal. I hate to brag, Hillary, but you know, I have ideal temperature and humidity in my house. Did I answer your question?
Yes, you're perfect. That's perfect. Now also, because I know so many of us are so excited to tear into our units that we might not read the manual, like you said, and we might overlook the water test strip in the back. So I think one of the takeaways that we want to highlight also is that using that test strip will help us determine how often we need to replace the anti-calc cartridge in our unit, depending on how often we're running it. You know, if we're running it 9 months of the year, that's different than if we're running it 3 months out of the year.
That's definitely correct. Or maybe you want to use it all year long, like the Anton on low, you know, so you have to, you know, educate yourself so that you know what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing. You know, it really depends on how many minerals are in your water, that type of thing, and that test strip is going to give you that information to make an educated decision.
Now, speaking of our water, this is another question we get asked a lot that we want to make sure we cover. So can you use water softened water?
No, unfortunately not. When you water soften water, you add salt to it. And salt in our machines do not mix well together. It will still work. It will work, you know, for a while, but you're going to lose the longevity of your unit if you're using water softened water. Because even with the anti-kelp cartridge, it isn't designed to take salt out of the water.
Okay. And then one last question before we let you go. Can you use distilled water in humidifiers and in diffusers? We get this question all the time.
Okay, so yes and no. So I'm going to teach you how to know if you can use distilled water in your unit. So any unit that has a float, that's how the unit knows to turn itself off automatically, because all of our units, you know, when they run out of water, they'll automatically turn themselves off. So say, for example, let me move this over. Say the Anton, remember when we were just doing the cleaning video and I told you to clean underneath the float? The float is what tells it to turn itself off, okay? So yes, you can use distilled water in any unit that has a float because it's not using the minerals in the water to turn itself off. It's actually using the float to turn itself off. So say we're talking then about Eva, our newer humidifier. She does not have a float. She's ultrasonic. She does not have a float or just a regular diffuser. The problem is if there's not enough minerals in the water, it will diffuse, but it might not turn itself off. So you want to make sure it's turning itself off. So the way to get around that, so you're using a product, say you're using a product without a float, you can use distilled water first, or you could still use distilled water, but first you want to mix it with a little tap water. So say you have very hard water, so you're using distilled, you know, at 80% distilled, 20% tap should be fine, you know, and it gives it enough minerals to go ahead and say to turn it off, but you're not going to get that hard water build up from, you know, super hard water. So that's just a little tip or a trick, you know, try a 80-20 split. Make sure your machine's turning itself off properly, and you're good to go. But again, Anton, totally fine. It has the float in it.
Sandy, thank you so much. We want to encourage all of you to make sure that you view our other videos in the series. If you may have missed anything, again, thank you so much, Sandy, for everything you have done for us so far and helped us bring all these incredible products into our home that are, yet again, a beautiful complement to the oils that we're using in our homes to just make our homes as low toxin and as pure as possible. We love this and we are so grateful for all your knowledge bombs. Reach out to me if you have any questions about doTERRA, if you have any questions about Stadler, and Sandy and I will try to continue sharing these tips and tricks and videos with you over time. If you have any other questions, we'll be sure that we address them for you in a future post. And as always, you can use code EBO for any discounts on Stadler's website, and I'll post the link below as well. And just check out and familiarize yourself with their product line because they have some incredible items. I know with the coupon code from last time, I ordered a little ceramic heater for my office, which I'm really excited to try because it's pretty cold in here sometimes. But we hope that you are enjoying the freshest air quality of your life in the upcoming year of 2019, and we hope it is your healthiest, best year yet. And so we are grateful that you are here watching this informational series, and we can't wait to continue pouring out to you in the future and bringing you lots more deals. So Sandy, thank you again so much for all of your time.
Thank you, Hillary, for having me, and we will be bringing additional education to you. I'm certain of it, and looking forward to a long partnership.
Absolutely. Thank you all, everyone. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.